Hello and welcome to e-GMAT. We will solve question number 86 of OG Verbal Second Edition by using e-GMAT three-step process. In the first step, we will understand the meaning of the sentence. In the second, we will evaluate the errors in the sentence. And finally, we will review all the answer choices to get to the correct answer. So let's begin. Intar, the oldest Hispanic theater company in New York, has moved away from the Spanish classics and now it draws on the works both of contemporary Hispanic authors who live abroad and of those in the United States. This sentence presents a few facts. It says that Intar is the oldest Hispanic theater company in New York. With the advent in time, it has moved away from the Spanish classics. Now it draws on the works of contemporary Hispanic authors. Some of these authors live abroad and some of these authors live in the US. Now let us evaluate the errors by splitting this sentence into its clauses. So here comes the first clause. Intar, the oldest Hispanic theater company in New York, has moved away from the Spanish classics, and here Intar is the subject and has moved is the verb. After and, we have a subject-verb pair, which means we have a clause here that reads, now it draws on the works both of contemporary Hispanic authors. Here it is the subject and draws is the verb. Presence of who brings us to another clause that reads, who live abroad and of those in the United States. Here who is the subject and live is the verb. Pronoun it in the sentence refers to Intar. Thus, logically, both the verbs has moved and draws have the same subject Intar. There are two possible ways of writing this sentence. Firstly, as two independent clauses, as in Intar has moved away from and now it draws on. But both these independent clauses must be joined using comma plus and. In this sentence, comma is missing and hence this sentence structure is not correct. The sentence can also be written as has moved and draws as two verbs of the same subject Intar, as in Intar has moved away from and now draws on. But in this sentence, pronoun it has been unnecessarily used. That leads to sentence structure error here. Notice that there is no comma before and that lies in the non-underlined portion of the sentence. Hence, this sentence can only be written as the second way, as in removal of it after now can only correct this sentence structure error. Again, there is a list in this sentence as marked by the dual markers both and. Per the intended meaning of the sentence, the list is it draws on the works of both the contemporary Hispanic authors who live abroad and those who live in the US. But the way this sentence has been written, this list is not very clear. In fact, the placement of both and of is not correct. It draws on the works both of. This of should actually connect with works describing the works of both A and B. But this is not the case in this sentence and hence we have an idiom error here. So these are the two errors here, and let us run the POE to find out what's the correct answer. Well, choice A is certainly not correct as we discussed just now. Let us take a look at choice B now. Well, choice B is the correct answer because firstly, it follows the correct sentence structure. It has been removed after now and both the verbs has moved and draws have been used as two verbs for the same subject Intar. Also, the list is absolutely clear in this sentence. It reads, it draws on the works of contemporary Hispanic authors. Now, of is actually describing works of both A and B, and what follows both is absolutely parallel to what follows and. So, B is the correct answer. Let's take a look at choice C now. Well, choice C is incorrect because firstly, it has the same sentence structure error as in choice A, and secondly, those living abroad is not parallel to who live in the United States. So these two errors make choice C incorrect. Let's take a look at choice D now. Well, choice D is also incorrect because it has the same misplaced both error as in choice A, and also of contemporary Hispanic authors living abroad is not parallel to who are living in the United States. Hence, choice D is also not correct. Choice E is also not correct because firstly, now is misplaced here. Now should modify the verb draws, but its placement nonsensically and ungrammatically modifies the noun works. Hence, this is one error here. Secondly, contemporary authors living abroad is not parallel to those in the US. Hence, choice E is also not correct. So, as we found out earlier, choice B is the correct answer for this sentence. This brings us to the takeaway messages of this sentence. The sentence structure should always be correct. If two independent clauses are used, then they must be connected appropriately. Also, in a parallel list, the entities following the dual markers must be grammatically as well as logically parallel to each other. The concepts tested in this sentence have been covered in e-GMAT concepts level 1 pronouns, level 1 parallelism identify and correct, and level 1 parallelism helpful tips.